Fans, welcome to WECU Court inside Carver Arena. And tonight, it's GNAC men's basketball as your Vikings play host to Montana State Billings. They are the Yellow Jackets. Fans, we would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather tonight on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watersheds from time immemorial. Please join us in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Fans, at this time, we'd like to ask you to rise if you are able and remove your hats. It's time now to honor America as the Western Washington University Band plays our national anthem. Now let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First, the visitors from Montana State Billings, the Yellow Jackets. At guard, a 6'3" junior, zero, famous left hand. At guard, a 6' junior, number 2, Jalen Tott. At forward, a 6'7" senior, number 3, Daniel Moody. At guard, a 6'7" senior, number 5, Stephen Richardson. And at forward, a 6'7" senior, number 12, Jaron Richmond. The Yellow Jackets, they're coached by Luke Finelli. Coach Finelli is assisted by Bruce Shaka and Andres Epperly. All right, 6-man, this is your chance to show your love. It's time now to meet the starting lineup for your Vikings. At guard, a 6'4" junior, number 1, KJ Kai Johnson. At guard, a 5'11" redshirt freshman, number 3, T. John C. At forward, a 6'9" senior, number 13, Jonathan Ned. At forward, a 6'9" junior, number 20, Nick Phelps. And at guard, a 6'4" junior, number 44, Will Wilson. Your Vikings, they're coached by Tony Dominguez. He is assisted by A.J. Albritton, Bob Hofstetter, and Otavio Jude. 6-man, it's game time.
Hello and welcome into Carver Gymnasium, where the Western Washington University Vikings get set to take on the GNAC leaders, Montana State University Billings. I'm Adam Race alongside Zen Hill on the call for you tonight. Zen, what do you think of this matchup here?
Yeah, of course, this is the best team in the GNAC statistically by their records, so the Vikings have a tough task ahead of them. Vikings tied for 5th, still trying to prove themselves in the GNAC. They come off a good win on Thursday. We'll see how the momentum carries here at home.
A really must-get win that they had on Thursday against rivals SPU, and they come in here with the biggest test remaining in their home schedule against a MSU team that's 10-2 in the GNAC, as Will Wilson takes the first shot of the night and hits it on a turnaround over the top of famous left hand.
Already back to what Will Wilson does. He had 16 points on Thursday against Seattle Pacific.
Such a consistent scorer for the Vikings. Him and Kai Johnson have just been going back and forth as leading scorer game to game this season for Western. Left hand pulls up and kisses it off the glass from the mid-range.
With the right hand, as we may mention. He's a right-handed famous left hand.
Very, very disappointing, to be honest. Would have been a fun thing to call, but foul committed there by Daniel Moody. Early foul against Moody. Moody had a triple-double the last time these two teams met back in Bellingham. We look again at this shot by Will Wilson. Maybe a bit of a mismatch for him against left hand tonight. He can definitely use the physicality to get shots like that. He likes to hit those from the mid-range. Vikings move it around the perimeter. 2-2 the score. Will Wilson thought about another shot. This time hands it off to Jonathan Ned, though. Ned between the legs, working against Moody. 5 on the shot clock. Mid-range shot from him is good. Same spot, same result. 4-2 Vikings.
And that is just the same thing Jonathan Ned loves to do. 10 points on Thursday. I think every single one of them came off an off-the-dribble jump shot.
MSU looking to respond. It's been nothing but mid-range jumpers that got points on the board for either of the teams so far. Jalen Tott, the MSU star this year, pulls up for 3. That one's off the mark. Tipped up in the air by Wilson and rebounded by Jonathan Ned. Pass just over the top of the defender. Steven Richardson finds Kai Johnson. Vikings get into the corner to Will Wilson. Shot fake. Lob pass out to Tijon Sane. Jumps to keep it in bounds. Pulls up for 3, of course.
Why not?
There's nowhere on the court that Tijon Sane cannot hit a shot from, and he shows it right there.
Hey, if Will Wilson gets an assist for that underhand scoop sort of pass, hey, put it on the board.
The response from Daniel Moody is good. We've got a quick firing game to start things out. Quick pass ahead to Jonathan Ned. Works around a Nick Velp screen. Tries to find a lane. Left-hand layup high off the glass and in. Talk about the pace early on in this one. Just back and forth so far. Vikings, of course, one of the top 10 highest scoring teams in the nation. And MSU with an elite defense. And that time, a great contest there by Kai Johnson. Strips it away from Zeron Richmond, but it's taken right back by MSU. Running transition, it's Tott. Gets a defender in the air and lays it in.
And a good job on that hop step. Got Tijon Sane off his feet, and it was just an easy finish from there off the turnover.
Points off turnovers are going to be a big part of this game. 15 turnovers the Vikings had last time they played MSU as Wilson pulls up for 3 and hits that one. Neither of these teams can miss right now, and Will Wilson with 2 quick buckets. It's 12-7 Western Washington. Great pass inside, finds Daniel Moody. The dish from Zeron Richmond, the 7th-year senior.
Expect to see a lot of Daniel Moody. He's coming off 20 points up north against Simon Frazier.
Nick Velp passes it inside, just gets to the right hand of Kai Johnson underneath. Double team, pass it back to Velp, deflected, and that's going to be MSU ball off the leg of Nick Velp. Vikings 5 of 5 from the floor to start things off. MSU 4 of 5. Famous left hand on the ball. Kick ball there against Jonathan Ned. Got a foot up to deflect the pass intended for Moody. Yellow Jackets will inbound.
Man, these two teams on Thursday did not shoot the ball overly well to their standards. These are some of the best shooting teams in the GNAC, but on Thursday, kind of slowed down, especially from 3 for the Vikings and Montana State Billings. So already a hot start for both teams in a new slate.
Billings coming off a close victory against Simon Frazier as the left-hand jump shot is off and rebounded by Jonathan Ned. Another lob pass. This time it was deflected and taken away by the Yellow Jackets. Tott past one defender, skips past his second, lays it up and in.
Another beautiful take by Tott. He's done that twice now, just hopping through the Vikings defense.
Leading scorer for the Yellow Jackets, putting up just up over 15 points a game, as well as a bunch of assists, a good amount of steals. He's doing it all this year for the Yellow Jackets. Wilson uses the physicality again and finishes. Will Wilson, a quick 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting. And a pass ahead, and one with the finish there.
Yeah, they got Nick Velp with the personal foul. Might have been in the restricted area potentially is what the call might have been.
And that's going to bring us to our first media timeout. Fast-paced stuff here, 13-14 Western Washington when we return.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Early on here, both teams have been hot from the floor, and Will Wilson has been the epitome of that. He's 3 for 3 to start things off, 7 points in these first 5 minutes. He's hit a 3 and a couple of mid-range shots. He's got 15 points a game, but looks like he's going to reach that, maybe more.
And not just 15 points per game, that's 5th in the GNAC, and he does it on great efficiency right now, especially from deep, 42.5% from 3, also 5th in the conference for Will Wilson. He has done a phenomenal job adding to this Vikings offense in the starting lineup.
Meanwhile, on the other end, driving and getting the and one opportunity was Zeron Richmond, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play.
Richmond, the 7th-year senior, as we like to call it, of course, missed some games, but we'll get into his story maybe a little bit later down the line.
Misses the free throw, and it's rebounded by Velp. So the lead remains at 1 for Western Washington. Tijon Sane finds a little room, dribbles in, tried to thread the needle into Kai Johnson, but it was taken away by the Yellow Jackets. Stephen Richardson on the steal. A pass deflected off of Jonathan Ned into the hands of Will Wilson, and we're right back the other way. Jonathan Ned this time attacks and kicks it back out just beyond the reach of Sane, who collects. We'll have a chance to catch our breath for a second here.
These are two teams that want to go quick. As a result, you have turnovers back and forth often with quick teams, but see which team gets advantage on the fast break.
Sane's attempt is off the side of the backboard. Losing his dribble for a second was top, but he recovers, and that's going to be a travel called on famous left hand as he collected it.
Left hand is a speedy player, known for his quickness in his game. He just wanted to be a little bit too quick to get to the cup that time and had to put the ball down before he stepped.
Isaac Moreau checking in for the Vikings for the first time tonight. He's been getting a lot of extended minutes after B.J. Cawley went down with injury, someone who the Vikings like to play as a bit of a center despite his size, but his physicality more than makes up for it as Johnson has a lane and he's stripped. Will remain on that side of the court.
Isaac Moreau had a little bit of foul trouble, but who can blame him? He had to guard Shaw Anderson, Seattle Pacific's best scorer, one of the best scorers in the GNAC, so of course got to end up with some fouls.
And pulling up for 3, and Will Wilson is 4 for 4 to start things off. He hits his first 2 3-pointers. He's got 10 points already. 5 minutes gone in this one. Meanwhile, in that break, Emmanuel Ajanaku checked in for MSUB.
It's going to be a tough matchup down low for Isaac Morrow.
Shot from the free throw line there by Zeron Richmond finds the bottom of the net. Both teams keeping pace right now on the scoring. Moreau dished it off to Johnson. Ned cutting inside, but didn't get the ball. And that time, Isaac Moreau wanted a deflection on Jalen Top, but he did not get a piece of it, so that pass is just out of bounds, and it will be MSUB ball.
Yeah, not a type of turnover that you want to have. Vikings now with 5 turnovers early on.
15 is their season high in GNAC play. That was against MSUB in Billings. This is a team that forces a lot of turnovers, and when they win the turnover battle, they tend to win games. This is a team that just finds a way to win night after night. In the corner, kick back out to the top. Richmond back to Todd. Thought about a long-distance 3, but pulls it back. 5 on the shot clock, trying to find space around Ned. Long 3-pointer, finds the back iron, tipped in by Richmond and out, but still collected there. Benny Fungala gets it. Another long shot is no good. Still battling for the rebound is Richmond, but eventually Isaac Moreau is able to muscle it out of his hands. Give the Vikings the possession back. Johnson straight down the other way. Won't get the floater to go. Jonathan Ned collects the offensive rebound, and now Ajanaku brings down the missed putback attempt.
Vikings had 27 second chance points against Seattle Pacific. Could not get a conversion there off a good offensive rebound by Ned.
That was the key to that game. SPU shot well from the field, but the Vikings just taking advantage of the turnover battle. Pass down low taken right away by Jonathan Ned, the Vikings steal leader.
5th in the conference.
Him and Kai Johnson, both some of the best ball stealers in the GNAC. Johnson going to work on the offensive end, spinning around Totten, finishing with the right hand. Just a good move there on the baseline. Jalen Totten not able to contest it. Vikings holding this 4-point lead here. Frenetic scoring pace so far. Left hand, long pass into the corner. Fungala can't get that one to go. Tipped out and taken away by Tijon Sane. Spin move, moving the other way. In transition, lays it off to Johnson to finishes.
And that is what Tijon Sane brings to this lineup as a starter. The ability to be a playmaker and dish off to Kai Johnson. It's just a good 1-2 punch.
And that's going to force a timeout from MSUB. We'll be right back here from Carver Gym.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, you don't have to try it. Go and get it. Go and get it.
Will Wilson, 10 points so far, 4 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3. And the Vikings holding a 6-point lead. As a team, 9 of 12 from the field. Extremely efficient, 75% overall. This is the leading field goal percentage team in the GNAC, shooting around 50%, but they've been on a cold streak as far as field goal percentage has gone over their last stretch. On the floor now, Jawan Tott, brother of Jalen Tott, getting his first minutes of the night. Ajanaku on the ball, controlling in the paint, now kicking it back out. Bryce Whitaker on it, driving in, some contact, no whistle, but he does get the finish. So Bryce Whitaker, the junior out of Los Angeles, the University of San Francisco transfer, gets his first points on the board.
Division I bounce back, played 2 years at the University of San Francisco, appeared in 8 total games.
Shot fake by Johnson. Ajanaku might have gotten a piece of that one. Johnson gets his own rebound, shot fake, and he draws the foul.
And good awareness by Kai Johnson. He just got kind of blocked by Ajanaku, gets it back and used that aggressiveness that he knew the defender was going to play to get the defender off his feet and force the foul and get some free throws.
And that'll lead to immediate timeout. We'll stay here for it. And this has just been a back and forth game. Neither team has been letting their feet off the gas pedal. 57% from the field for MSUB to start things off on 8 of 14 shooting. 9 of 13 for Western Washington. Will Wilson doing the majority of the scoring for the Vikings. But Montana State Billings, as we've seen this year, they've got so many different ways that they can hurt you offensively. They've got 6 different players on the score sheet right now. Their leading scorer, Daniel Moody, is 2 of 2 with a 3-pointer and 5 total points.
And these are two teams that are coming off some really tough games. Seattle Pacific and Western Washington on Thursday was a classic. You know, both teams going back and forth. Western Washington held the lead for most of it, but there were still 10 lead changes in that. Against Simon Fraser, the Yellow Jackets had a ton of back and forth battles. At the end of the half, it was looking like it was kind of going to be Montana State Billings' game to win, but then SFU surged back, and somehow that game ended up just being decided by 4 points after 17 lead changes in Thursday's game for Montana State Billings.
And this is something that the Yellow Jackets have dealt with a lot this year. They've been in a lot of really close games. They've just always seemed to find a way to play together and come out on top. And we look at the first time these two teams played in Billings this year. It was 97-84 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. That's the highest GNAC total in a game for the Yellow Jackets this year. They dominated that game as far as offense went. The Vikings did their part offensively, as they have all season, but too many turnovers and just beaten overall by a excellent performance by Daniel Moody, who put up the 8th triple-double in GNAC history during that game. He had 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and a season high in points as well.
I think something about this Yellow Jacket team, it's just proving everyone wrong. You know, they finished second in the conference standings last year. Of course, they lost 2 of their biggest players in Carrington Wiggins as well as Bilal Shabazz, but a team that was predicted to finish 5th is at the top of the GNAC, and we're more than halfway through this season.
It's been really impressive, especially under a first-year head coach, Luke Fennelly, who's done an excellent job here in his first campaign. MSUB take back over. That one tipped away. It went off of Ajanaku last. Nick Velp definitely got in there to disrupt it, and Ajanaku couldn't cleanly control the pass out of bounds. Western Washington ball. 5th turnover for the Yellow Jackets. Turnovers are now 5-5.
And disrupt, as you said, from Nick Velp on Thursday. He was disrupting everything on the defensive end. He had 2 steals and a season-high 3 blocks.
Just an amazing season he's having so far in so many different ways on and off the stat sheet, putting up double-doubles and just being clutch in big moments as Gary goes up and one on the mid-range jumper. Darius Gary's first shot of the night and a chance for an old-fashioned 3-point play.
We like to joke around with Darius Gary being the corner specialist of this team. I guess he's kind of getting to the corner, but in the mid-range that time, and still he puts it in.
A short corner works enough for him. The Vikings less than a quarter of the way through the clock, or a quarter of a way to the century mark. 26 points now for Western Washington. What a start offensively for one of the top scoring teams in the nation. They're averaging 90 points a game. They've been on a cold streak as far as scoring has gone, though. 4 of their last 5 games under 80. Before that, they didn't have a single game under 80. On the other end, Moody's able to put it in, cut the lead down to 7. Sane controls it, working around a Velp screen, kicks it to Moreau. Moreau gets a little space off a spin, free throw line. Velp dribbles in himself, around the contact, gets it to roll in over Ajanaku. Nick Velp's first bucket of the night. Lou Grant Holiday off the bench into the game for the Vikings. He's been a great contributor off the bench, gets a lot of steals and transition buckets, and he can hit a 3-pointer as well. And that time he got a disruption, perhaps a block. Ajanaku is able to control it on the floor. They want a timeout, but it's going to end up as a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Yellow Jackets. They were trying to get a timeout with Ajanaku controlling it on the ground, but it will just be a jump ball in the end. So look again at this move by Velp, little shot fake to distract Moody, and to get up above the 6'11" frame of Emmanuel Ajanaku is not easy. An excellent interior defender.
And not just that, that's a 6'9" forward in Nick Velp doing a little double clutch layup.
Certainly doesn't have the offensive stereotypical center skill set. He can hit 3-pointers, he can hit mid-range shots, and of course the leading rebounder on the team as well. Todd hits the ground as he tried to get around Isaac Moreau. No whistle. Taken away by Jonathan Ned. Ned dribbles fast the other way. Turnaround jump shot. Won't go. Front iron. Isaac Moreau got a couple hands on that one, but it was taken away in the end by Richardson. Pass ahead to Ajanaku and the slam.
This team is going to run tonight, and when you have Ajanaku being willing to run down the court and finish on a dunk as well, that is a scary thing for the Vikings to face.
He got down there in a hurry and finished over the top of Jonathan Ned. Velp pulls up. That's a 2-pointer, a long 2-point shot. He hits it.
With a hand in his face, 9.5 points per game for Nick Velp.
Velp hits his first 2 shots of the night. He's up to 4 points. Ajanaku at the elbow. Tot trying to find room and hands off instead to Moody. They try to get it down low there to Steven Richardson, and the foul was committed down low by Jonathan Ned. First foul of the night for Ned.
Jonathan Ned was trying to pick up steal number 4 of the night already. He already has 3, which, I mean, we knew he could steal the ball. He's among the conference leaders in that category, but already has 3, and we're barely into this first half.
Jonathan Ned, a player who started off stealing at an incredible rate, slowed down a little bit as the season went on, but as you said, quick start here with 3 already. Nick Velp will take his seat. Kai Johnson coming back into this one. Also back into the game is Zeron Richmond on the ball now. Hands it off to Jalen Tot. 10 minutes remaining here. Tot drives in, can't get around Grant Holiday. 10 to shoot. Hands it off to famous left hand. Pulls up long two-pointer, deflected on the shot by Isaac Moreau. Great defense there by Moreau. Gives the Vikings back the ball. Left hand has not been able to get that shot so far off tonight. He hit that mid-range to start things off, but he's been 1 for 4 since then. Baseline jumper by Jonathan Nett is off the mark. Long lead pass, finds Richardson, pass it off to left hand, who finishes with the right on the layup.
And this is dangerous for Western Washington University. On Thursday, Montana State had 17 fast break points, and they are running tonight. They already have 8.
This is a team that's talked about how they're comfortable playing at a high tempo. As Grant Holiday fakes the three-pointer, pulls up from the elbow, a little bit strong on that one, taken away by Todd off the board. Passes ahead to left hand, drives baseline, kicks it in the corner. Richardson for 3, no good. And it's rebounded by the Vikings. Johnson puts a move on one defender, tries to get past another through contact, doesn't get the roll. MSU bring it back the other way. I'm just waiting for one of these teams to shoot with under 10 remaining on the shot clock. Daniel Moody runs into some trouble, and Darius Gary draws the foul.
That's the help defender getting caught in a sticky situation for Darius Gary. Unfortunate for the personal foul.
As that will bring us to a media timeout with the Vikings holding a 7-point lead, 30-23 when we return here on Vikings TV.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Nick Velp, an early 2 of 2 to start things off. That time about as long as a two-pointer as you're going to see. Just toe on the line there. He's been very efficient as of late. He had a double-double at Western Oregon. He had 12 and 17, and then last night he had an efficient 8 and 8, some clutch free throws down the stretch as well. What an important part of this team he has become here in his junior season.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in a broadcast early in the season for Western Washington, but Nick Velp and Kai Johnson, it seems like their jumps have came at the exact same time, and it's just lined up perfectly with those two following their same career paths.
We've seen the confidence imbued in Nick Velp, especially in that jump shot, and of course he's continued to be an excellent rebounder, leading the team in rebounds right now. MSUB 7 points down right now. Hasn't been for a lack of scoring, though. The Vikings have just not been able to be stopped offensively. MSUB trying to keep pace. Working around Nick Velp there, and no good on the layup. Tipped up and in. Few hands in there. I'm not sure who they're going to credit that basket to, but the offensive rebound pays off for MSUB. So the deficit is cut to 5. Zeron Richmond is going to be credited with the points on that one. Wilson in the corner, thought about taking another three-pointer. Instead, the long pass. This time they get it to Gary. That's his spot. He can't hit it this time. That's off of Daniel Moody, so it will stay on that end of the court. And that's exactly the shot you want to get Darius Gary wide open in the corner. Just a little strong on it.
Yeah, Darius Gary, he is shooting right now 45% from the field, and most of his shots, at least in the games, come from that spot.
Tijon Sane back onto the court and right back with a shot. This time it's swatted away by Zeron Richmond. Velp trying to keep it in bounds, is not able to do so, though. Gary hits the three-pointer after it goes out of bounds.
A block for Zeron Richmond. That'll be block number 10 this year. Surprisingly, his first 3 seasons, he ended up becoming the program leader in block shots, but this year has kind of taken a step back on the defensive side in that sense of things.
He's a player who was putting up blocks in the 40s earlier on in his career, but he's changed his game a little bit here in his super senior season. Stephen Richardson on the ball. They quickly get it to Richmond, driving inside, trying to finish with power over Kai Johnson, who ended up getting a piece of his hand there and sending him to the line. That would have been a highlight reel finish by Richmond.
Yeah, so Zeron Richmond, he played his first 3 seasons with Montana State Billings, averaged 12.5 points. He was a great player. The COVID season, of course, was canceled and everything. Zeron Richmond decided to take a step away from athletics. For 2 seasons, he decided to focus on his academic side of things. And then after his final year, where he was supposed to graduate last year, tore his ACL in the preseason. You know, unlucky for him, you see he still wears that knee brace on his left knee, and now coming back for one last year after graduating against Montana State Billings as a graduate student.
And he has been, you know, obviously a senior presence. He's been very clutch this year, late in games for MSUB. He was the team's only preseason All-GNAC selection, which really goes to show how underrated this team was going into this season. You've got a few players on this team who are certainly looking at All-GNAC selections. Daniel Moody, Jalen Todd among them. He hits the free throws, and it's a 3-point game now. Will Wilson kicks it to the corner. Gary gets to his spot once again, and this time he makes no mistake.
There it is.
Darius Gary up to 6 points now. He had the 3-point play earlier, and now he hits the tray from the corner. Daniel Moody looking to respond in the post over the top of Will Wilson. Gets the foul and 1.
That's a beautiful response off the Vikings. It seems like every time the Vikings start to roll, Montana State Billings is going down quickly and keeping this thing within striking distance.
We talked about how Daniel Moody had a career game and then some last time these two teams played. He had 24 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in Billings last time these two teams faced off for the 8th triple-double in GNAC history. He's coming off a 20-point double-double against Simon Fraser on Thursday. He completes that 3-point play. He's perfect in the field so far tonight. The Vikings still unable to find an answer for Daniel Moody. 3-point game for Western Washington. Kai Johnson on the ball here. Double teamed. Kicks it to Darius Gary. Some space at the free throw line. Laces it.
How about Darius Gary? He only had 7 minutes on Thursday. They are letting him roll because he is hot.
8 points in just 5 minutes so far tonight for Gary. We know he's been a very effective player off the bench. We've seen all of last year and this year, but he can turn games around when he gets hot. Jalen Todd, ball in his hand, step back, long 3-pointer, yes.
And fading away too. Got a bump at the end. He put it through. The transfer from Dawson Community College, Todd.
Jalen Todd up to 7 points tonight.
He's already one-upped himself from Thursday. He had just 6 against Simon Fraser. A down night it was.
Kai Johnson wanted the long answer, couldn't get it, and it's rebounded by Moody. Chance to tie it or take the lead here for the Yellow Jackets. Haven't led yet tonight, and they tie it up on the slam from Zeron Richmond off the feed from famous left hand.
All tied up now.
35-35. Vikings led by as much as 9, and that was just 3 minutes ago. Quick 6-0 run. Wilson pulls up from the elbow, doesn't get the favorable roll. Kai Johnson comes down with a good offensive board. Lost his dribble, but it was off a deflection. Vikings will maintain possession as Ajanaku will check back in, replacing Zeron Richmond. So Isaac Moreau is back on defensive duty against the 6'11 junior from Lagos, Nigeria, as we look again at that Richmond slam. Tijan Sane, he's got eyes for the bucket here, but he hands it off instead to Wilson. Spin move at the baseline, turning around, getting it out to Darius Gary. He gets the long 2-point shot to go. Darius Gary, 10 quick points on 4 of 5 shooting.
He is rolling.
Todd. Movement around the perimeter, trying to find their shot here. Driving inside, deflected at the rim by Kai Johnson, and it goes off of Viking. It's going to stay at this end of the court.
Darius Gary has only scored in double figures twice in a GNAC game this year, against Simon Fraser and against Alaska Fairbanks, most recently on the 20th.
And something we have not seen too often this year is Janko Drama in for some first half minutes here.
And I think it's matchup-wise. You got to match the height. 6'11 out there with the Janaku.
Janko Drama, the 7-foot transfer out of Victor Valley Community College. Definitely a good physical matchup for Emmanuel Ajanaku. The Dusseldorf, Germany native, picking up some key minutes here. Taut. Long three-pointer over the top of Sane. Can't get it to go. Rebounded by Kai Johnson. Vikings a chance to extend this 2-point lead.
That's where MSUB has been struggling from three-point range. I think it's a big difference maker so far in this first half.
There he is again.
Oh.
Doesn't get that one. In and out.
He is just getting open look after open look, though, and I think that's worth noting. What is the Yellow Jackets going to do to counter that?
Ajanaku goes to work against Drama. Couldn't get it to go. Immediately, that defensive substitution pays off as Ajanaku misses on the layup over the top of Drama. Spin move by Will Wilson. Taut got a touch to it, and it'll be Vikings ball. And that'll go to our media timeout here. We've got a shootout, 37-35. Don't go away. We'll be right back on Vikings TV.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Well, we've got what's shaping up to be a really good game here. Back and forth stuff in front of a good Carver gym crowd. We saw a great crowd of over 1,100 on Thursday for the rivalry matchup against SPU. They went home happy with the Vikings pulling out a late victory. And it looks like we've got a classic here so far. 2 points is the difference between Western Washington and GNAC leaders, Montana State University Billings. And this is an opportunity for the Vikings to pick up what would be a statement victory as they battle for a spot in the GNAC tournament. This is a very interesting Billings team when you look at it on paper. As far as the statistical categories go, they're not higher than third in any of the major statistical categories in the GNAC, but they're on top of the standings, so they just get it done night after night. So many different ways they can hurt you offensively, and there's really no one place where they're weak.
Yeah, they may be first in the GNAC standings, but they're still not the ones receiving votes in the GNAC. That's still St. Martin's, so I think that's something they want to prove to themselves and everyone else.
Will Wilson controls it out of the break. Just 3.5 remaining in this frenetic first half. That foul is going to be on the floor.
It's been a pretty clean game for both sides on defense, and I think that's kind of added to the speed of this game. Both teams just flying down the court, not much to stop about because both teams are playing good, solid defense.
Benny Fungula got picked up on that foul there. Inbounding from the baseline into Janko Drama. Long pass up to the top with Will Wilson. What a start he had to this game. Kicks it out to Tijan Sane, guarded by Richmond. Drives to the left side, got a little bit of room. Lays it off on a beautiful pass to Will Wilson, who finishes it off. What a play by Tijan Sane there, passing up the layup to give an even easier layup to Will Wilson. He's up to 12 points now.
All three of Sane's assists tonight have been magical.
Ajanaku at the perimeter, off to famous left hand. Taut, little bit of space off a screen. Kicks it to Fungula. Back out to Taut. 7 on the shot clock. Driving in, mid-range pull-up. Won't go. Swatted away by Johnson. And Drama can't get his hands on the rebound. Taut a quick shot on the other end. Gets it. The three-pointer makes it 38-39 Western Washington. MSUB is yet to lead in this game, but they're about as close as they've been right now. Tijan Sane works around a Drama screen. Trying to get space around Taut, drives baseline. Wilson, corner, three-pointer. Too strong, air ball. Rebound picked up by Drama. Hands it off to Tijan Sane. Good screen by Drama. No look pass finds Wilson, who's fouled.
Tijan Sane had a wide open lane into there, and then as the help defender came over, Will Wilson was in the exact spot where Sane wanted him to be. Didn't even need to look at it to get the ball to him, and now gets some free throws.
The synergy right now between Tijan Sane and Will Wilson has been excellent. Sane's ability to use that speed to create lanes as he did on that one, and Will Wilson, he's able to finish through contact and in tight spaces use that physicality and find the right cut at the right time. Will Wilson, 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting so far tonight. Make that 13 points as he hits his first free throw. Tijan Sane, 3 assists.
Will Wilson, the 7th best free throw shooter in the conference with 82% from the line.
And the Vikings bringing in another bench big man in Liam Clark. Of course, the injury earlier on this season to B.J. Cawley has led to Tony Dominguez having to put some rotation in that big man role. And Liam Clark, who's played well in some appearances off the bench this year, comes in for some first half minutes. Jenko Drama goes to the bench. Clark, the redshirt freshman. Daniel Moody drives in, doesn't get the lay to go. Clark, his first stat of the night's a rebound. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first half here. Sane guarded by Tot. Gets the offense set. Tot not giving him any space. Works around a Clark screen, driving all the way in. Layup with the right hand and the finish by Liam Clark with authority. That's his calling card. The big thunderous put-back dunk. Left hand wants the response, and he gets it.
That's a great way to silence the crowd after Liam Clark got everyone hyped up. I think Liam Clark is that. He's a spark plug. He gets the crowd going because he just wants to dunk on everyone's head, and he's done it over and over.
He does not have light dunks. He throws everything down with as much as he can.
We haven't seen him since the Western Oregon game, but he already made an impact.
Tijan Sane dribbles out of trouble, gives it off to Kai Johnson, pulls up long three-pointer with a hand in his face, and he sinks it. Kai Johnson, 9 points now. He's well on his way to yet another double-digit scoring night. He hasn't failed to get into double digits a single time.
And he told me on Thursday, just the coaches are telling him, let it fly, and right there, hand in his face, didn't matter. He's going to shoot that ball.
Fungula trying to get room around Kai Johnson. That time, nothing but air on the hook shot. Well defended by Johnson. 10-second difference between shot clock and game clock here. Tijan Sane drives in, kicks it out to Gary. He goes to the lane, and he's fouled, bump in the back. Famous left hand called for the armbar in the back of Darius Gary there. Look at that finish from Liam Clark. Now, we saw him earlier on this season. He's come off the bench, and he gets 4 or 5 minutes, and he has 4 or 5 dunks in that time.
Quite literally.
Vikings definitely needing to put a lot of physicality out there to deal with this hard-playing MSUB team. Wilson kicks it to Kai Johnson. He wants another three-pointer. Doesn't get that one. Getting a hand to it was Darius Gary, but the Yellow Jackets are able to rebound. See if they want the last shot here. Looks like they are going to slow things down to get the last shot. They put it in the hands of their leading scorer in Jalen Tot. He's 2 of 5 from 3 already tonight. He's guarded by Tijan Sane, working left to right. Pulls up a long two-pointer. Yes! Clock ticks down. Vikings aren't going to be able to get another shot in the half. 45-43. What a first half of action here from Western Washington. Both teams shooting above 50% from the field, and we have what is set to be perhaps a classic so far in this one. We're going to get A.J. Albritton talking with Zen Hill in just a second here, and we'll see you in the second half as well.
I'm down here on the court with assistant coach A.J. Albritton. Talk about that first half. This is the best team in the GNAC record-wise, and you guys are in the lead by 2.
Yeah, they're tough. We had a few turnovers at the beginning of the game, and they make you pay for your turnovers. As you see, if you give them second chances, they'll knock down shots. So they're number 1 in the league for a reason, and they're 10-2 for a reason, and they're 16-6 for a reason, and so they're a really good team. But I think if we eliminate turnovers and continue to 43 is a little too much. The last few games we've been playing good defensively. If we can work it out, clean it up on the defensive end, we should be able to pull out here.
Talk about the pace of this game. These two teams, you guys, we know you like to run, but Montana State Billings, they're running tonight too. And we're playing clean defense, and these teams are just flying. That first half went by like a bullet.
Yeah, they're fast. They've definitely played faster than they have over the years. So, they're a fun team to watch. They're fast, but hopefully we do that too. So hopefully we get a few stops and pull out and continue to, 45 for us is pretty good too. So hopefully we can keep that up.
Thanks, AJ. Good luck in the second half. Vikings second half coming up next on Vikings TV. Stick with us.
I shake
I would summarize my experience at Western as I was a guarded, nerdy kid who loved to perform, who allowed herself to put in the time and the effort to carve herself into something.
Jump in the trunk, jump in the trunk,
And whatever that was has led me to where I am right now, to be a fully realized woman. And I'm really thankful for the time and the effort that I put in for myself, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Welcome back into Carver Gymnasium. Western Washington and Montana State University Billings are playing some really entertaining basketball out here. 43-45, Western Washington in the lead against a MSUB team that is 10-2 in the GNAC and currently on top of the standings. Vikings at 6-6 in 5th place, currently in a playoff battle. Adam Race alongside Zen Hill on the call for you. Zen, take us through those first half stats.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it on the screen. These two teams are shooting efficiently from wherever they end up, whether it's the field, the three-point line, or even the charity stripe. These two teams are just going back and forth. It is a neck-and-neck game. The rebounds are basically even. Both teams are doing a good job limiting turnovers. Kind of some of the individual stats for you. Western Washington is led right now by Will Wilson with 13 points and Darius Gary off the bench. How about that? 10 points. Kai Johnson, the Vikings' leading scorer, usually has 9 points in that first half, followed up by Jonathan Ned and Nick Velp with 4. Montana State Billings on the other side of things are led by their leading scorer, Jalen Tott. He's got 12 points. Richmond with 10 and Moody as well with 10. Famous left hand, 7 points as well for Montana State Billings. And we're just going to see if the break changed anything between these two teams. Are they still going to shoot as hot? And if so, which team is going to pull ahead? It's going to take a whole lot to win this game tonight.
And Western Washington hitting 5 3-pointers and 10 attempts in that first half. 3-pointers have been something they've done well all season, but they've been on a cold streak. They came into that 4-game road trip having not had a single game where they've made less than 5, and then they have not reached that 5-point mark 3 of 4 times since then. But they've been able to find wins in other ways. They didn't shoot well from beyond the arc against SPU, but they still found a way to win that game. And for this MSUB team, game to game, it seems like they fall behind in one statistical category, they get ahead in another, and they're able to ride that to the victory. If they're not ahead in the turnover battle, they're ahead in the rebound battle, or they're ahead from the field. But right now, everything is pretty neck and neck with Western Washington just taking that edge, so they need to buckle in and try to finish this one out against a team that has just been so consistent all year. That's been the calling card for these Yellow Jackets, that they do not take the foot off the gas pedal, and they don't give an inch of room. If you make a mistake, they'll make you pay for it. I hope you guys are enjoying the soundtrack here to the start of this second half.
And something I wanted to mention also that doesn't necessarily show up on your initial stat sheets. 11-2 in the fast break points in favor of Montana State Billings, and that has shown so far in this first half. We'll see how it continues.
Both teams have been running fast, and these are two teams comfortable doing that as Kai Johnson goes up trying to get the first bucket of the second half. Can't get it to fall, though, off of front iron and out. And MSUB has a chance immediately to tie it up or take the lead. They have not led yet in this game. Famous left hand on the ball. He's got 7 points so far and 3 of 6 shooting tonight. Guarded closely by Tijan Sain, and he gets it out to Steven Richardson. The pass there finds Richardson in the post, and he's fouled going up by Kai Johnson. It was a good cut and a dish by Daniel Moody that got him there. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Steven Richardson's coming off a season-high 16 points against Simon Frazier. He only has about 7 points per game, but he's got 3 double-digit games in his last 4. He's taken a lot more shots over this recent stretch than he has for the season on a whole. Like a bit of a down year scoring. He started all 30 games last year in 2022-23. He had 32 minutes per game last year and had 9.7 points per game with 4 rebounds. See, misses on the free throw there. It's rebounded by MSUB. They get another shot at it. Left hand gets space for the three-pointer, and he makes the Vikings pay. You cannot give famous left hand space from beyond the arc. He will knock them down.
And Montana State Billings has been crawling higher and higher in their three-point percentage. They started the game very poorly, but have since caught fire.
So that ends up being a 4-point possession for the Yellow Jackets. They take their first lead of the game, 45-47 to start off this second half. Nick Velp with it, guarded by Moody. Trying to get some space with the body, can't get the roll. Battling for the rebound, and he commits the foul on Steven Richardson on the way down. And that is the 3rd personal foul against Nick Velp. Not a player that Tony Dominguez wants to have to take out of this game, especially being down a big in BJ Colley already. The Vikings cannot afford to lose that physicality battle.
We have seen Tony Dominguez, we saw in that first half, is willing to go to his bench with guys like Liam Clark, Janko Drama, and of course Isaac Morrow is always going to be in there.
And right there, Steven Richardson got left all alone, and Tony Dominguez immediately wants a timeout of that one. That was a defensive breakdown by the Vikings, giving a wide open layup for Richardson. And that one is going to extend to a media timeout here. So MSUB comes out hot, 8-0 run to start the second half, has them up 4.
It's important that what I do as a job is something that I find meaningful. I ended up applying to the cybersecurity program at Western. The aspects of the program that really stand out to me is the hands-on experience.
Being able to work interdisciplinary and bring cybersecurity to marine science, bring it to communications, bring it to everything, is what really makes it interesting.
Welcome back to Carver Gymnasium. Let's take you around the GNAC. So far, some other scores. St. Martin's won their game against Western Oregon 83-79. Central Washington, with 3 minutes left, is leading Alaska Anchorage 68-58. Simon Fraser at the start of the second half up by 1, 29-28 against Seattle Pacific. And Northwest Nazarene leading Fairbanks with 10 minutes left, 57-39.
The crucial games there for Vikings fans are Seattle Pacific and Central Washington, other teams on the bubble for tournament spots. Vikings right now in 5th place. That crucial win against SPU putting them there. They were just outside the top 6 before that matchup. Louis Grant Holiday onto the floor out of the timeout, drives in, and he's swatted at the rim by Daniel Moody. Will Wilson pulls down the offensive board. Intense battle for the ball there. And they're going to get a foul on Daniel Moody there on that scrum, trying to get the ball out of the hands of Will Wilson. So the Vikings will pick up the ball at the baseline.
That's a lucky break for the Vikings there. Seemed like a possession that was going to die for them, and the foul bails them out.
Could have been a jump ball. MSUB certainly wanted it to be a jump ball, but the Vikings are gifted the possession back. Down 4 here. Largest lead of the night for Billings. Tijon Sane working with it himself. Ball on a string. Corner to Grant Holiday. Back to Sane. Back to Grant Holiday. Lays it up. No good. Good passing play. Doesn't pay off there.
Yeah, that's a possession you have to be happy about. You got a good look on some great ball movement. Can't be too mad if you're Tony Dominguez.
MSUB looking to extend this lead with Tot. Guarded well by Tijon Sane, but a good cut, and he finds it in the corner. Quick passing from Billings. Gets a 3-pointer that's airballed in the end by Zaron Richmond. Back-to-back possessions for these two teams where they moved the ball well, just couldn't finish.
Yeah, that was beautiful on the side of the Yellow Jackets. Unfortunate they missed the shot by that bad.
There's Will Wilson there. It looks like he got fouled going up. A late whistle, but Wilson will go to the line.
Will Wilson went 1 for 2 his last trip up there. The Vikings shot it very well from the free throw line on Thursday, and they're continuing that tonight as a team. They've only taken 5, but still hitting 80% of them.
It's the highest free throw percentage team in the GNAC. Over this last stretch, free throw percentage has been in the low 70s over the last 5 games. It's 77 for the season. They did make 22 of 27 on Thursday, and down the stretch they made a lot of crucial ones, a lot of those going to Nick Velp, who was pulling down boards and getting fouled and hitting those clutch free throws. Jonathan Ned back onto the floor. Nick Velp also about to check in. He is on 3 fouls. Isaac Moreau to the bench. Manuel Ajanaku back on for MSUB. Here's Will Wilson, hits the free throw. He's up to 15 points on the night. Leads all scorers. Tot brings it down the other way. He leads MSUB in scoring. He's got 12 tonight. Hands it off to Richmond. Ajanaku fakes the handoff to left hand and passes it off to Richmond instead. 10 on the shot clock. Thought about the three-pointer, but instead gets it down low to Ajanaku, working against Velp, trying to use the size advantage, and he does effectively there.
Not much you can do if you're Nick Velp. He had his hands straight up, perfect legal guarding position, just got finished over.
And Velp is definitely going to have his hands full on the defensive end. He's double teamed quickly, and they got a swat on that one. Left hand got a piece of the ball out of Velp's hand to the Yellow Jackets. Top the other way, tried to lay it off, and it's taken right back by Will Wilson. Good transition defense by the Vikings. Now they've got a fast break of their own. Pass it off to Jonathan Ned. Great pass to Kai Johnson with the easy finish.
You thought Tijon Sam was going to take the three. You thought Jonathan Ned was going to take the layup, but no, it's Kai Johnson off a nice pass from Ned.
And that is the offensive efficiency that has led to these Vikings team scoring 90 points a game. They are on pace for that so far. They've got 49. That's a foul on a screen that they're going to get against Jonathan Ned, it looks like. Ned's second foul of the night.
Something Montana State Billings done tonight. They have 4 players in double figures with Moody Richmond, left-handed Tot. And I kind of said it to you pregame. It seems like this is a team where any one of those 4 players can be your leading scorer, and that is a dangerous thing to have.
This is a team where all 5 starters are averaging double digits. Tot pulls up from the baseline. Nothing but the bottom of the net over the top. Tijon Sane there. Leads back up to 4.
He has hit some really tough shots tonight, fading away from 3, that time on a turnaround as well.
He's up to 14 points. Vikings are just 1 of 5 from the field to start off this second half. Make that 2 of 6 as a good drive from Tijon Sane cashes in.
An underrated part of Sane's game is the ability to drive.
His left hand goes right at the bucket there and draws the foul. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Famous left hand is an All-American at the junior college level.
That's going to bring us to a media timeout with MSUB up 2. We'll have free throws when we return here on Vikings TV.
Campus to Campus is a beautiful reciprocal relationship that's really centered on how to support young students to see themselves in a different kind of way and see the possibilities for their future.
Allie was one of our first mentors. A lot of people have believed in me along the way, Allie being one of them. She's always inspired me. Now I'm at Western, actually going to college.
It's changing lives for the young students that we work with, and it's changing lives for the mentors who work with them.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, you don't have to try that. Go and get it. Go and get it.
53-51 is the score. The visitors, Montana State University Billings, in the lead. Before the break, we had famous left hand driving to the hoop, drawing the foul, and he'll go to the line here, the United Tribes Technical College transfer.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more than just that. United Tribes Technical College is his last or most recent stop, I guess we could say. Out of high school, he was initially committed to Rocky Mountain College, which is in Billings. He ended up decommitting, goes to Williston State College, where he averaged just 4.3 points per game. Said he didn't play with the coach very well. He transfers, and now in his real freshman year, as that was the COVID year, he spends it with United Tribes Technical College, averaged 23.6 points per game, and is a third-team All-American, and now at the Division II level after a junior college level.
He's been on and off the floor this season. He's had some trouble with injuries, but he's a knockdown shooter when he is on the floor. He's proven himself as one of the best three-point shooters in the GNAC. And interesting to see it transfer previously at Rocky Mountain College. There's a scrum on the floor here between left hand and Will Wilson. That's going to lead to a foul on famous left hand. I believe that will be his 3rd.
And we talked about him missing some games. When you play that fast, when you play that hard, it's just that mentality that can sometimes put you in danger. But the willingness to put his body on the line for his team is what makes him such a successful player, and I'm sure they're glad to have him in Billings.
As I was saying, the transfer previously playing at Rocky Mountain College, the arch rivals of MSUB. 2 teams share the storied Rimrock rivalry. They've already played twice this year. 2 heartbreaking losses for the Yellow Jackets. 69-70 in their first matchup, and then 95-97 in double OT, both going in favor of Rocky Mountain. Tijon Sane on the ball here, hounded, but he gets it away to Will Wilson. He just lost his dribble there, taken right back by MSUB. Long pass ahead to Ajanaku. Diving for the ball was Kai Johnson, and he's going to get the ball from it. It deflected off Ajanaku last. That is an excellent chance taken by Kai Johnson. He decided, if I'm going to get the ball, I'm going to get it on this dive, or he's just going to throw it down. He ends up getting the ball.
Last time we saw Janaku in a transition fast break, he ended up slamming it down on the Vikings' head. This time they were aware for that play.
They wanted a replay on that one, but it looked pretty clear on our replay that it was off of Janaku. Not even sure that Kai Johnson got a hand on it, just disrupting it enough. And that time, Jonathan Ned throws it right into the hands of Jawan Tot, but taken back by Kai Johnson. So the blushes of Jonathan Ned spared by Johnson, and Ned wants a three at the end of it. It's short, rebounded by Nick Velp. Velp trying to find some room around Ajanaku. Can't do it, kicks it out to Sane. 3 on the shot clock, driving in, floater, gets fouled. Went right into the chest of Emmanuel Ajanaku, and he will go to the line to shoot 2, and no player you want at the free throw line more than Tijan Sane if you're Tony Dominguez.
Yeah, 5 for 5 on Thursday. He's been atop the GNAC all season. He's currently second in his free throw percentage at an 89.9. And Tijan Sane, I mentioned, an underrated part of his game is the ability to get to the hoop. And oftentimes, if he's not finishing a layup, he's ending up in his favorite spot, which is the free throw line.
And early on this season, we saw Tijan Sane put on a free throw clinic. Was it 5 or 6 consecutive free throws in one trip that he hit in that game against Alaska Fairbanks after some technical free throws? I believe it was 6.
I think it was 6
consecutive free throws. And he hits them both there right on cue. He's up to 7 points on the night.
He's also up to now above 90% from the free throw line.
MSUB trying to build back, lead at 2 points. Can't do it on that shot as the rebound is torn down by Kai Johnson, sprinting ahead in transition. Ned to Will Wilson. Faked the three-point shot, got it out to Ned at the top. Drives in, left hand is good.
Split right through the zone defense of Montana State Billings, and no help defender was there. Ned finished over the lone man in the paint.
We're all tied up, 5's on the board, and it'll stay that way after the shot is off the mark from Moody. And the ball will stay on that end of the court. Look again at this drive here by Jonathan Ned. Just such a talented player. 6'9", moving like that into the lane and laying it in with the left hand. Beautiful stuff. Inbounded to Benny Fungula. Hands it off to Jawan Tot. Jawan gets it off to Zeron Richmond, drives in, put an elbow in the face of Nick Velp there, and he's going to get an and one. And Nick Velp's going to be called for the foul. He definitely put some contact on Zeron Richmond, but he got it right back in the form of an elbow up to the nose.
He definitely got the worst of it, and unfortunately that's foul number 4 for Nick Velp as well.
And it looks like Darius Gary will be the player to come in to replace Nick Velp. And we'll see if we're going to have some more center by committee from Tony Dominguez here as they try to deal with the physicality of MSUB, see if Liam Clark or Jenko Drama maybe get back on the floor. Right now,
very small lineup for both teams. You'd have, what are you putting, Jonathan Ned down there? Maybe Darius Gary ends up being the tallest player.
There's no natural center on the floor as Isaac Moreau now does come in.
Okay.
So they're going to take out Tijan Sane, so they're going to bring off the shortest player on the court in Sane. They're going to have Kai Johnson run the point and have Isaac Moreau play the center position.
It was looking interesting there. Definitely not a single player we've seen be a paint defender on the court for the Vikings, but now Moreau has those duties guarding Richmond.
Not the tallest player on the court, not the tallest Viking on the court, but he will take over at center. The tallest player on the court for the Vikings pulls up for 3 and hits it right on cue. 6'7", Jonathan Ned. Ice in his veins as he ties it up 58 apiece.
No need to stick him in the paint. We can hit that long of a three-point jumper.
He has had an excellent season, and he can hit those long-distance shots just like so many other players on this roster. Moody passes it off to Jawan Tot. Works around a screen, deflected and taken away by Will Wilson in transition against Richmond. Lays it in with the left, and the Vikings have retaken the lead for the first time since the 9-minute mark in the first half. Excuse me, that was late in the first half that they held that lead. They had that halftime lead as well, but it was taken quickly back by MSUB. Largest lead of the night came at the 9-minute mark. 9 points for Western Washington, that was. As Richmond, off-balance layup. He's going to go to the line. They're going to get Isaac Moreau on that one. Moreau trying to guard a taller Zeron Richmond. Couldn't get up in time.
And the good thing is Isaac Moreau is not in foul trouble, so he will likely see a lot of playing time as Nick Velp waits to make an appearance later in the second half. Isaac Moreau, just his first.
So Richmond, he'll go to the line third time tonight. He's 3 of 4 so far. Knocks down the first.
Yeah, Richmond an 84% free throw shooter.
As Jalen Tott comes on, and for the first time tonight, we see both the Tott brothers on the floor. Twin brothers out of Dallas, Texas. Both transfers from Dawson Community College. Richmond hits them both. Ties it back up at 60s. Double high motion is the call from Tony Dominguez. Kai Johnson runs it, gets it off to Isaac Moreau. Back to Jonathan Ned. Hit a three-pointer on that last possession. Drives in this time. Lays it up high off the glass. Too strong. Rebounded by Moody. Pass almost eluded Jawan Tott on the ball. But he does end up with it. Moody gets it off to Jalen Tott in the corner. Fungula drives baseline, and he's rejected down there. Defense by Kai Johnson and Darius Gary, and then it'll be Vikings ball. And that'll force a timeout, and that will stretch to a media as we have a knotted up 60-60 game here when we return.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Well, Western Washington started off this second half shooting 1 of 5 from the field. They're now at 5 of 11, and they've tied things back up. They trail by as much as 4, but they've come back here. Some big buckets from Jonathan Ned, some good overall offensive efficiency, and some defensive stops as well. Has brought this one back to a deadlock. Really good game we have shaping up here.
Yeah, this is just a stalemate. It's not necessarily lead change after lead change, but it's like either one team's going to take the lead, they're going to ride with it for 5 minutes, the other team's going to battle back with some subs, and then they're going to retake the lead. It's just back and forth. Which one is going to line up, though, will be the determining factor.
Vikings have led for just under 20 minutes of this one. MSUB have led for 5.5, all of which was in the second half. Kai Johnson drives in, draws the foul.
They got him with a travel.
They got him with a travel, excuse me. Just doing a little too much on the baseline there. That is the signature of Kai Johnson, to just go right at the hoop and go to the line. Just too many steps there.
And his third turnover tonight.
Kai Johnson hits the floor, sliding for a couple feet, doesn't get the call.
Thursday night, we saw something very similar, but it was a chest slide. We called it the Penguin.
That time he had his eyes on the ref the whole time as the mid-range shot falls for Daniel Moody. Moody, 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting and 7 rebounds. He could be on his way to another double-double. Darius Gary with it, hands it off to Kai Johnson. No room for him, hands it off to Will Wilson. Back to Johnson.
Ned wants a cross-court pass.
Johnson takes it himself, though, throws it off the backboard and gets the foul.
Jonathan Ned was in that far corner with his hands up for, I think, the entire possession. Just wanted to get a three-point jump shot off potentially.
When you're as talented as a scorer as Kai Johnson, you get eyes for the hoop. There's nothing else you're going to do. He goes straight at it that time, and he gets what he wants. He gets the free throws. Second trip tonight. Kai Johnson's led all players in minutes so far tonight. He's played 27. He's off on the first free throw.
He is in double figures, so he'll continue to score. You know, this will be now number 24 of games scored in double figures, but he came into this one with 16 games of 20 or more points, with, I guess, has become the normal for him, when usually a 20-point game at this level is something that we are surprised about. Kai Johnson has made it a normality.
And 6 rebounds as well, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He's doing it all once again. He just fell short of that double-double on Thursday. I believe he had 9 rebounds in that game. There's been a couple times that he's had 9 rebound games, just falling short of the double-double mark.
Yeah, even last Saturday against Western Oregon, same thing, had 20-plus points and 9 rebounds.
They get Isaac Moreau there on a foul. And as we talked about, Isaac Moreau is not really a player that Tony Dominguez can afford to pick up too many fouls here, already down that center position.
He's still sitting all right, though. Just 2 personal fouls is enough to roll with. And we've seen Tony Dominguez. He can go to Jenko. He had Liam Clark out there as well. He's experimented with other players, other forwards onto the court, but his go-to guy is going to be Morrow from here on out.
And that'll put Richmond at the line in the bonus. He hits the first end of the 1-and-1.
Yeah, this is an early bonus for Montana State Billings. 10:46 left, and they're going to be shooting free throws off every foul.
It's been a physical game, and it's been a quick game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more fouls down the stretch. This might come back to bite the Vikings, but MSUB, they're at 5 team fouls themselves. It won't be long till they're in the bonus.
We saw the Vikings take advantage of being in the bonus on Thursday against Seattle Pacific. They shot above 20 free throws in that game.
They made a whole bunch of them as well, 22 of 27. Kai Johnson, a little bit of room off a screen for the 3. He's off on it, though. Rebounded by Daniel Moody. He's up to 8 rebounds on the night now, leads all players. Top to Tot, and now in the corner to Moody. Driving in on Moreau. Reverse layup is good.
As you mentioned, Moody, he had 20 points and 11 rebounds, so had a double-double on Thursday. He's inching towards that as well as being one of the top scorers once again for this Yellow Jackets team.
Off that inbound, I saw Jalen Tot immediately throw to the official. Even after the bucket, they want the play to continue immediately as a swat there by Daniel Moody sends it back the other way. Isaac Moreau rejected, transition, 3-pointer off the back iron. That would have been a huge momentum shift if Tot was able to hit that one. Vikings dodge a bullet.
Yeah, down 5, cannot afford to give up a transition 3. That would have been a huge gain for Montana State.
And it is a 5-point lead for the Yellow Jackets as Ned finds a lane and he whiffed the layup. Fights for his own offensive rebound, but and it will end up getting the ball as Jawan Tot stepped out of bounds, so he's able to spare his blushes a little bit, forcing the turnover there, but that's a shot that you do not want to see Jonathan Ned missing. We have a timeout on the floor here. Tony Dominguez calls it to slow it down, and that will extend to the media timeout. So a 5-point lead off an 8-1 run for MSUB. We'll be right back after the break.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, I don't have to try that. Go and get it. Go and get it.
MSUB going on a run here after the Vikings were able to tie it back up at 60 apiece. MSUB is now up 66-61, an 8-1 run for them. And we saw out of the media timeout both Janko Drama and Liam Clark signaling to the scorers table that they were going to come in out of the break. So this is going to be one of the tallest looks we've seen all season for the Vikings. As we have Jonathan Ned at 6'7", Will Wilson 6'4", Janko Drama not out on the floor. He checked in at the break, but he does not end up coming in. Liam Clark will be the big.
I think that was the switch. Liam Clark instead of Janko Drama was actually checking in.
I don't believe they had both been on the floor for any minutes really this season. As Johnson pulls up from the elbow on a turnaround and rims out. So Liam Clark is in there to try to stop a Janaku on the defensive end. Clark had a thunderous putback slam in the first half. Getting some clutch time minutes here. He goes to work defensively against the Janaku. Handed off to Richmond. 1-foot fadeaway, little Dirk Nowitzki shot there, gets it to fall.
That's the leading scorer tonight for Montana State Billings, now 19 points on 6 of 10 shooting as well.
Tijan Sane Working around two defenders. Pass it off to Kai Johnson. Got his defender in the air. Couldn't get the and one, but he will go to the line. Another great drive and dish by Tijan Sane gives the Vikings an opportunity to put a couple on the board.
Yeah, it could have been assist number 5, but instead he'll still get his teammate to the line. Kai Johnson, a 77% free throw shooter, right around the average of this team coming into this game. Vikings shoot it the 18th best in Division II, 77.7%.
It's the first of 2. So the lead is 6, perhaps 5. It'll stay at 6 as Ajanaku pulls down the rebound. Vikings tonight are 10 of 13 from the line. So around their season average at 76%. But they've got to get some stops here down the stretch. Tot pats it off. Richardson driving in on Ned. Skip through. Liam Clark can't rise up high enough. The layup is good. That's a great take there by Richmond.
Entered this game averaging just above 12 points per game. He's got 21.
7 of 11 from the floor. 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Vikings have not had an answer for him driving inside. And as well as that mid-range shot, it's been lethal tonight. Liam Clark back to Tijan Sane. Will Wilson, long three-pointer. Can't get it. Rebounded by Ajanaku. It was a well-defended shot, but that's one that Will Wilson has been known to make. And the Vikings, they need an offensive spark. That might have been it. They can't get it this time. Just under 8 minutes remaining, 8-point lead. A piece of that was got by Jonathan Ned, but Billings able to maintain possession.
Yeah, unfortunate. Vikings need a stop here.
And they don't get it as Richmond hits his first three-pointer of the night. So Ron Richmond, 7th year, 24 points so far. He has taken over here offensively for the Yellow Jackets. Vikings need to find a way to stop him. Kai Johnson passes it off to Ned. Dribbles inside, lost it for a second, gets it back. The floater is good.
Good composure by Jonathan Ned. People were just swarming around him, and Jonathan Ned found a way to get a good look.
That breaks an 0 for 7 streak as far as shooting goes for the Vikings. They're now 1 for 7 in their last 8. Richmond, he wants another one. Wow, everything falling. I think that one was bank off the baseline.
Feed the hot hand, why don't you?
26 points for him. He can't miss right now. 17-4 run over the last 6 minutes for MSUB.
Yeah, and that's 4 straight makes from Richmond.
And they've got the largest lead of the night for either team at 11 points now. This one has gotten away from the Vikings really quickly. And that'll go to a media timeout. We'll return in just a minute here on Vikings TV with MSUB up 75-64.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
Welcome back. We got you the men's GNAC scores earlier. Let's get you the women's final scores. Every game is a final already tonight. Seattle Pacific beat Western Oregon 59-47. Alaska Anchorage pulls out a close one against Fairbanks 78-75. Our Western Washington women beat Central Washington 69-60. Riley Dykstra had 30 points. How about that? Montana State Billings 57-50 victory over St. Martin's, and Simon Fraser picked up an 83-64 win over Northwest Nazarene.
And of course, the GNAC women's coming down right now. A bit of a 2-horse race as far as the championship in the regular season goes between Western Washington and Montana State University Billings. That one might come down to the matchup between those two teams in Billings.
And how about the year for Montana State Billings basketball? Both teams sitting atop the GNAC conference.
Back-to-back years.
Exactly. Both teams have been consistent over the last couple of years here in the conference.
Tijon Sane hits a couple of free throws, as one could expect. And it's 66-75, so the lead is down to 9.
Vikings need energy here out of the timeout. They're seeming to slow down a little bit on offense. They've got to get back to what they had in that first half.
Needs to start on the defensive end here. Richmond's been unstoppable, as they are going to get it on that one. Kai Johnson getting a hand in and forcing the ball out off of Richmond. So that is crucial, and the Vikings need a bucket here.
Yeah, you got the turnover. Now you need to convert. Get a good look. And the Vikings probably going to see Kai Johnson here lead the way, and Tijon Sane as well. Figure out how to drive, kick something out maybe, or find a cutter.
Richmond goes off the floor. Daniel Moody in now for MSUB. Will Wilson working against Tot. Double team by Tot and Najanaku. Gets it out to Nick Velp. Now with Tijon Sane. Trying to find any kind of space. Just pulls up for 3. That one's short. Isaac Moreau got up, got a piece of it, and it goes off of Janaku in the end. Vikings maintain possession.
Moreau almost had a perfect putback opportunity, but great defense by the Yellow Jackets to swat it out of bounds. Vikings will keep possession, though.
Johnson inbound on the baseline. Throws it into Velp. Handoff back to Johnson. Jumping pass finds Will Wilson. Pulls up, long two-pointer. That one air ball, but it's rebounded right into the hands of Tijon Sane. Vikings gifted another possession.
Oh.
And there's going to be a foul there. A collision between Jalen Tot and Tijon Sane. It looks like Tot will be called for the foul.
And that is now bonus for the Vikings.
And once again, the player you want going to the line in that situation, it will be Tijon Sane. He's 4 of 4 from the line so far tonight. And these are crucial. Vikings need to make something off of this possession. 2 offensive rebounds. Hits the front end.
This is Tijon Sane's 5th straight start. We saw Isaac Morrow make the starts after B.J. Colley went out of the lineup, but now they've shifted to picking Tijon Sane, the guard, to make the starts to kind of relieve Kai Johnson of some playmaking duties, and it has paid off for them. Tijon had 14 points on Thursday and converts both free throws as well.
Tijon Sane, a player, anytime if you're a student here at Western Washington, you come to Carver Gym during the day, you'll probably see Tijon Sane putting up shots.
I always see him.
An incredibly gifted shooter, but an incredibly hard-working player. Ajanaku controls it. He's given space by Vel. Pass it inside. A good dish and a reverse layup by Daniel Moody.
Moody faked the outside look and just cut right back to the basket. No Viking defender saw that one coming.
The Vikings, they're down 9, and they turn it over. Johnson lost the dribble. Trying to get it back. He does. Transition here. Johnson, 2 defenders ahead of him. He's going to be fouled.
That's a great job by Kai Johnson. He had the turnover, did not give up on the play, sprinted back on defense, got it back for his team, and now he gets free throws as well.
Johnson goes to the line 4th time tonight. He's 4 of 6. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a block. He's doing it all for the Vikings with a lot of playing time. 33 minutes he's spent on the court so far tonight. And this is the time where the players like Johnson need to take over. Vikings are one of their last 9 from the field. They need someone to get hot. Gets the first free throw. MSUB has scored 10 more points than the Vikings so far in this second half, and they've just stayed so consistent, just a tick under 60% from the field for the game.
And they're shooting 66% in the second half, so they one-up themselves from the first half. We thought they were going to slow down. No, they did not.
The Vikings, 52% in that first half, down to 31% from the field in the second. Janaku looking for options, gets to the corner with Tot, pulls up a 3 over the top of Kai Johnson, rolls around the rim and out, and a foul, and it's going to go against MSUB on the rebound.
It has been the free throw game for the Vikings these last couple of possessions, and it will continue. Jalen Tot missing that 3. Now 2 of 7. He has struggled.
Stephen Richardson is the player called on the foul. Going to the line will be Will Wilson. Wilson's 3rd trip to the line today. He's an 82% free throw shooter. And once again, as we said, every free throw down the stretch here crucial for the Vikings. They hit the first. They're in the double bonus now, so no worries about hitting the first end, but he gets it nonetheless. As Richmond comes back in, replacing Ajanaku.
Will Wilson is still the Vikings' leading scorer. He started out a lot hotter than he has finished over these last couple of minutes, but they're going to need him to come up big towards the end here if they want to complete the comeback.
He hits them both there. They've cut the lead down to just 5 here. We've certainly got a ball game. Daniel Moody brings it down the floor here. Hands it off to Fungula. Richmond finds a cutting Moody. Getting a hand in was Tijan Sane to deny the immediate opportunity, but the reverse goes in nonetheless. Isaac Moreau just outbodied there.
This Billings team doesn't have a true center, but a forward like Moody is just eating down in the paint tonight.
Janaku, the only player you could say is a true center, and he's playing off the bench for all of this season. Will Wilson behind the back trying to get space against Todd. Gets it to Nick Velp from the free throw line. Hits the mid-range shot to keep pace. 4.5 remaining. 5 points is the difference. Vikings need to get a stop. Richmond. Guarded by Velp. Hands it off to Tot. Now up top to Moody. Back to Tot. Working around that right side, looking for space. Step back three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by Isaac Moreau. Quick pull-up three by Tijan Sane. Doesn't get it. Rebound torn down by Isaac Moreau. Looked to have gone down a little funny. Oh, he looks a little shaken up. He's back up to his feet now. Good to see, but he wasn't able to maintain possession. Other end, a three-pointer is hit by Daniel Moody. That is just an unfortunate turn of events for the Vikings. An opportunity to bring it within 2 on the Sane three-pointer. It falls short. That'll be a timeout, and it'll stretch to a media here. Last media of the game. It's an 8-point deficit for the Vikings to overcome in just under 4 minutes right after the break.
The Teaching Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Original, never compromise. Nobody can mess with my copyright. Make it look easy, you don't have to try that. Go and get it. Go and get it.
Vikings have a hole to dig out of here. Down by 8 with just under 4 minutes remaining. In other men's scores around the GNAC, it looks like Simon Fraser are going to pull out a win against Seattle Pacific, and Central Washington beating Alaska Anchorage tonight means that regardless of a loss tonight, Vikings will still be in the postseason if the season were to end today. Still some games down the stretch, of course, but results going the Vikings' way elsewhere in the GNAC. But they've got 3 minutes, 42 seconds to try to forge their own fate here in Carver Gym in front of a good crowd.
Yeah, definitely. Simon Fraser has a 12-point lead over Seattle Pacific. But the Vikings got to do their job as well on their own end to maintain their position with a victory here. And they've got to have a comeback in these last couple minutes.
Got to put it in the hands of the talented shooters like Kai Johnson, Tijan Sane, Jonathan Ned. A lot of players, honestly, out there for the Vikings who, when they get hot, can turn games around. We'll see if there is a hero for the Vikings. Kick it to the corner, Nick Velp. Long pass, finds Sane, dribbles in, rip through, gets it to Will Wilson, up through the contact, and one! Big bucket by Will Wilson. They get Benny Fungula on the foul, and Will Wilson a chance to complete the three-point play and cut this lead down to just 5. Great passing there from the Vikings. Another good assist from Tijan Sane, and Will Wilson, the finish through contact. That is something he does so well. And he hits the free throw as well.
22 points now. Will Wilson, he has done it tonight for the Vikings.
Vikings pressing on defense, trying to get a steal. They need stops down the stretch. Daniel Moody with the ball in his hands. Fungula with it now. MSUB taking their time, trying to take seconds off the clock. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Jawan Tot back to Richmond. Pass deflected by Will Wilson. It's going to be a foul on the floor, but that will mean that going to the line will be Daniel Moody.
Yeah, they're just trying to stop anything from Daniel Moody. He is eating. This 6'7" forward has 21 points and 8 rebounds. Coming off a double-double on Thursday, is one-upping that tonight in his scoring category. He's already outscored his Thursday points. And he's got a chance to add as well. Daniel Moody has taken over in the second half.
Vikings have had a really tough time guarding the big man of Richmond and Moody. 26 for Richmond, 21 for Moody. And it's not too surprising considering the Vikings, who are lacking a little bit of depth as far as big men go right now. They've done their best to try to guard these players by committee, but it's been tough on them so far.
Yeah,
Moody misses on the free throw, and it's rebounded by Ned. That could be big.
Yeah, no B.J. Colley has shown itself tonight for the Vikings, unfortunately.
So the foul ends up giving the Vikings the ball back with just the 5-point deficit. Chance to cut it to a one-possession game. Kai Johnson's off on the floater.
Yeah, he was trying to get a foul off of that, but unfortunately it's a tough miss for the Vikings.
Jawan Tott passes it back to Moody. Back to Tott. He'll hold it by the logo. Looking for a way in. They get the pass over the top. And it's going to be a foul on the floor against Nick Velp. So going to the line once again. Or excuse me, it will be Zeron Richmond going to the line.
Yeah, the leading scorer tonight.
And that'll be Nick Velp's 5th.
And that's an unfortunate loss for the Vikings. 2.5 minutes left, and that is your biggest player that you trust in these minutes. And Nick Velp is gone.
And you saw Nick Velp coming to the sideline. Hey, man, I did what I could. This is a tough defensive matchup for the centers of Western Washington. And now we have the same problem we saw earlier. There's really not a center on the floor for Western Washington right now.
No, I think you just got to find someone that can muscle up against Daniel Moody, and that has been Will Wilson over the last couple possessions. But now the challenge for Jonathan Ned will be guarding Zeron Richmond on the defensive side of things.
And Richmond misses the free throw. Vikings given yet another lifeline with 2 minutes and change remaining. Darius Gary is the replacement for Velp. Johnson brings it up the floor, passes it off to Wilson. Wilson pulls up for 3. That one got tipped. Tony Dominguez is not happy with the shot selection on that one. And Jawan Tott controls it. Another chance the Vikings got off a missed free throw that they're not able to convert off of, and it's still a 5-point lead with under 2 minutes remaining now. Jawan Tott on the ball. Vikings looking for yet another stop, getting his hand in his net. The pass ahead to Tijon Saint in transition. Lays it up and in. It's a one-possession game, 79-82 Billings.
Billings is up. They're being forced to play slower than they want to. They're scoreless in their last 2 minutes because they've been slowing things down. Not the game that they have played all game that has made them have this lead.
The pace has been frenetic all night. And as you said, they're having trouble. But they're Ned trying to dive in for a steal, and Richmond throws it down. Or excuse me, Daniel Moody throwing it down there. Excuse me, it was Zeron Richmond there.
And Richmond, that's now his career high with 28 points. Just one-upped his 27 against Rocky Mountain College this season.
Richmond 28 on 10 of 15 shooting. The lead is 5. There's a minute left. Ball in the hands of Kai Johnson, drives in. He's fouled. He goes down hard. He'll get back up to his feet, though, to go to the charity stripe.
That was a tough fall to the ground for Kai Johnson. Now, with some pain in his arms, is going to have to shoot these free throws with a soft touch.
Saw that steal by Ned. That's exactly what the Vikings need. The quick hands of Jonathan Ned all season, we've seen it. And those steals near the logo and those quick transition buckets could turn this one around, but looks like pretty soon the Vikings are going to have to play the foul game. But a couple of free throws here, and it'll still be a one-possession game, and they can try to get another stop. Famous left hand checks in for MSUB, replacing Jawan Tott. Left hand has 12 points in this game. He's 2 of 3 from downtown, 4 of 7 from the field.
He has been forced off the court, as we saw with some of the Vikings players. He has 4 personal fouls, so just one defensive mistake from him, and he's out of the game as well, and he's one of their best guards.
Isaac Moreau back on the court now, replacing Darius Gary, who only played a couple of possessions there. So the Vikings do have that center back in Moreau as Johnson misses the second free throw, and it's still a 2-possession game. It looks like Tony Dominguez was calling for them to get a stop and not go for the foul, but Kai Johnson fouled in the backcourt.
Yeah, they didn't want the foul, but it will end up with free throws.
And that is the double bonus. So 2 free throws here for Jalen Tott, not the player the Vikings want to send to the line. He's only shooting 73% from the free throw line, a respectable mark, but he's the star of this team offensively. Jawan Tott back onto the court as famous left hand sits right back down.
All right.
Got about 10 seconds of game time there, maybe.
I mean, left hand's a great free throw shooter. Maybe that's why he was in case he got fouled.
But Tott's able to hit them both. It's back up to 6 points. Vikings need a three-pointer, you would think, or at least a very quick two-point shot.
Need a quick 2 or a 3.
Ned passes off to Sane. That's the player you want to put up a 3. Drives in instead with the right hand around the contact and one! What a take by Tijon Sane with the English off the backboard and in.
Oh, man. Redshirt freshman in the clutch, getting it done. The taller defender didn't matter.
Look at that roll off the backboard and in. Taking all that contact from a much larger defender, a chance to make it a one-possession game. That'll force a timeout from Luke Fennelly. And let's talk about these last 45 seconds here. You have Tijon Sane trying to complete the three-point play. And the Vikings with 44 seconds here. There's a 14-second difference between shot clock and game clock. They've had a lot of trouble stopping MSUB going the other way. So for Tony Dominguez, I assume it's a choice on if you want to risk it or if you want to try to immediately foul. They'll probably try to get a steal off the press.
Yeah, I think the Vikings here, they have to allow Montana State Billings to show that they're going to take over this game. You can't force them to the free throw line. I think the Vikings avoid a foul here, take their last 14 seconds or maybe a little bit more and some change, and the Vikings have a chance to go down and force overtime. But they need a stop, and they need a free throw here as well from Tijon Sane.
Defense down the stretch has been a struggle for the Vikings this year. But they've shown the clutch already this week in Carver Gym, pulling out a close game against Seattle Pacific.
Now, one thing, Steven Richardson is on the floor. He's the worst free throw shooter for Montana State Billings. So if he gets the ball and you're going to foul, that's who you want.
Tijon Sane completes the three-point play.
They're gonna press.
MSUB, they're going to try to find their man. They get it to Richmond, and it looks like the Vikings are not going to foul immediately here. Like we said, 13 seconds separate shot clock and game clock. Ball in the hands of Jalen Tott. They get it to left hand, guarded by Tijon Sane. Gets it back to Tott. 30 seconds remaining. Todd's going to get some seconds off the clock here.
Going ISO.
Kai Johnson and Tott, the two stars going at it here for perhaps the game. Tott drives in, doesn't get the layup to go, deflects out to Tijon Sane. 15 seconds remaining. He pulls up for 3 to tie it. No good, rebounded by Moreau. And there's a foul on the baseline. It looks like it's going to go against the Vikings.
An offensive foul is heartbreaking. You are not going to make friends out here as an official with an offensive foul, with the Vikings kicking out to Jonathan Ned as well. Tijon saying he had the look.
He was open at the top. That's a shot that he wants to make. He's just a little strong on it.
And I mean, in that context, that is a tough call.
I believe they called that on.
It was on Kai Johnson.
Kai Johnson. Yeah. It was off the ball. And
yeah, so it was Kai Johnson. He was trying to get the offensive rebound, was at the defender's tip. I think it was Jalen Tott that ended up maybe slipping, but also having the push exaggerate it, and it really robs the Vikings of that offensive possession. That is just heartbreaking.
A heroic offensive rebound by Isaac Moreau. We're going to get another look at this again in a second here. It was Kai Johnson and Tott, and
he does shove him, but it's a tough break for the Vikings. There definitely is contact there. There is a little bit of a push, but at this stage, what amount of shoving do you allow in that situation? And it's to the referee's judgment. And at the end of the day, the Vikings, they committed a foul, and that's just what's going to cost them maybe.
So it's going to go down to the line here, and Tott will be shooting them. He hit the 2 clutch free throws just a moment ago.
Yeah, and Tott is a member of a very long basketball family. Mother played at the WNBA level for 10 seasons. He's a member of a triplets. Jawan Tott, one of those as well, and his sister Nevaeh Tott is playing at the Division I level for Oklahoma. This is a basketball family, and he's in a big spot for his team.
Vikings are praying that he'll miss both of these to keep it at a one-possession game. Not too likely. Vikings will probably have to play the foul game. Carver getting loud. He does hit the first. It's a 4-point game. 2 possessions separate these teams.
Yeah, as you described him, a respectable free throw shooter in the clutch, proving his worth here.
Hits or misses the second one. Ned brings it down. Vikings need to move really quickly here. Jonathan Ned straight to the corner. His shot is blocked. It's taken back by MSUB, and they're going to run this one out. And with 0.6 seconds remaining, that's going to be all she wrote. Ned sprinted down the floor, tried to put up a desperation three. If it had gone, the Vikings would have had a prayer, but it's blocked away on quick transition defense. Everyone in the arena knew that he was going up for that three-pointer, sadly, so it looks like it's going to be finished off here with a Richardson free throw. He only has 3 points tonight, but 4 steals, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. And the last points of the night, it looks like, as well. Misses the first. And this is just a heartbreaking loss for Western Washington. A chance for a marquee victory against a tough MSUB team, falling just short.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the matchup last year. It was a 5-0 Montana State Billings team coming into Carver. Vikings gave them a run for their money, ended up losing by 4, and tonight just another tough one for the Vikings. Some heartbreakers over the last couple of games, whether it's the St. Martin's loss that the Vikings had, this one tonight. Unfortunate for Western Washington. Let's look at some of the personal stats. The leading scorer for the Yellow Jackets is Zeron Richmond with 28 points. Daniel Moody, 21 as well. Jalen Tott, 17 points. Famous left hand, 12. Those are all the double-digit scores for MSUB. Western Washington led by Will Wilson. Kai Johnson had 16. Will Wilson, had 22 points. Tijon Sane, 16 points as well. Jonathan Nett, 11. And Darius Scary off the bench with 10 points. Vikings lose after Montana State Billings shoots 57% for the entire game. And just props to that team for doing that tonight.
Yeah, that was just an excellent performance by a team that has shown their consistency all season. That is why they are atop the GNAC. They remain atop the GNAC at 11-2. The Vikings now at 6-7. Stay in a spot in the tournament due to some losses by SPU and Alaska Anchorage, but they're going to have to really bear down over these last few games. They go on the road to play the Alaska schools. They've got Fairbanks and Anchorage next week before returning home for their last 2 home games against Northwest Nazarene and February 24th. Circle the calendars for what will be a crucial game with playoff implications. That's certainly going to be a fun night. But thank you for tuning in this week to Vikings TV. I'm Adam Race alongside Zen Hill. Good night, and as always, Sko Vikes.